Not to exaggerate about things because I'm Cuban and I know we have a tendency to do so, but honestly, I think Snow White might single-handedly ruin Disney's entire 2020.
Disney's amazing universe is on fire, and Rachel Zegler is holding the match. Her bold remarks against the Snow White remake have provoked a boycott and fan outrage that is turning into a legend. This puts a $300 million bet at risk of failing. Reshoots are in full panic mode, and Zegler's career is in a vulnerable condition. Has Disney's audience finally reached a breaking point? Is there any prospect of saving this sinking ship?
Left-wing policies hurt shareholders. SEC filing, Disney is now admitting that it's been slapped by its own customers for its far-left social and political.
Rachel Zegler's public comments against the Snow White remake and the original film have drawn heavy criticism from many fans who claim she is demeaning a treasured classic. Instead of embracing her role in Disney's history, Zegler dismissed the original Snow White as outdated and antiquated, alienating those who grew up enjoying the story. In her closing post, this is not the first time a Hollywood star has faced backlash for controversial remarks. Brie Larson faced similar backlash while advertising Captain Marvel, since her focus on feminist causes divided audiences and hurt the film's reception. Fans are questioning why Disney chose Zegler to portray a character with such a strong sense of history and nostalgia, however, as a result of her remarks. Left-wing policies hurt investors. Disney is now admitting in a new SEC filing that its own consumers have slapped it because of its far-left social and political agenda. Outrage on social media was sparked by fans' criticism of the Snow White 2025 trailer's drastic divergence from the original narrative. The Seven Dwarfs were now shown as a diverse group of individuals, and many thought that Snow White's updated past was unnecessary. When fans expected the classic plot, they were met with what they saw as forced modernity. The commotion was comparable to the reaction to the Little Mermaid 2023 teaser, which included contentious debates on casting choices and modifications. Viewers felt that the messages were dominating the delight of these stories, even though both programs aim to promote inclusivity. Disney's reputation for controversial remakes is further exacerbated by fans who wonder whether nostalgia is being sacrificed for commercial gain.
Disney is not unique in this dilemma. So many studios are facing the same problems, and the lens has just focused on Disney for some very understandable reasons.
Disney's focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DIY, has elicited mixed reactions, especially when it seems that the essence of a story is being lost. Critics argue that the drive for representation in Snow White 2025 overshadowed the original plot, with changes that seem to be made more to meet quotas than to honor the beloved classic. Warner Brothers had similar criticism for prioritizing message above storyline in its quest to diversify the cast of the Velma remake. Supporters contend that although representation is important, it should enhance authenticity rather than replace it. Despite their differences, the existence of transgender people is not something to be ashamed of.
By the end of December 2023, Disney had already spent a whopping $269.4 million on this live-action Snow White film. That spending alone actually makes it the most expensive live-action Disney project of all time.
Disney has already spent an astounding $300 million on Snow White 2025, and with reshoots now being explored, that sum will surely rise. There are concerns about whether the investment can ever be recovered, since these last-minute changes are expected to cost an additional $10 to $15 million. The situation is akin to the financial disaster of John Carter, 2012, a highly expensive film that left Disney reeling after failing to connect with audiences. Disney's marketing ambitions might be completely destroyed if Snow White fails, since unsold action figures, dolls, and clothing will be stacked high in warehouses. In addition to the immediate expenses, this mistake might damage confidence in Disney's long-term strategy and endanger the company's once reliable live-action remake formula. The backlash appeared to be intensified by every step of Disney's marketing strategy for Snow White's 2025s. Posters and trailers highlighting the Seven Dwarfs and Snow White's backstory changes only serve to increase criticism, giving viewers the sense that the studio was more focused on furthering agendas than honoring the classic. This is comparable to Ghostbusters' marketing disaster in 2016, when fan objections were dismissed as sexist alienating the core fan base. Disney's marketing made people more annoyed rather than happy, making the movie a symbol of unwanted change. Rachel Zegler's own polarizing remarks about the original Snow White, together with the film's dismal box office performance and her own problems with public opinion, created a storm that Disney was unable to stop.
Being that the budget is as overinflated as it is, and we've talked about that on this channel, I see this being another maybe $5–10 million loss, just like The Little Mermaid was. Definitely not going to be a good first quarter for Disney.
The magic of the originals is always lost in modern adaptations, and Snow White 2025 seems to be no exception. By focusing on making significant changes, Disney may anger people who like the familiarity and simplicity of the original plot. This is comparable to the 2019 Charlie's Angels disaster, which, although modernizing its idea with modern themes, failed to connect with its audience and had a poor box office performance. Revisions may obscure the primary ideas of a story, making it less enjoyable and more like a lecture. The future of Disney's live-action Snow White remakes has been seriously questioned as a result, and future movies are under pressure to avoid making the same errors and alienating their loyal audience. As the outcry mounts, Disney is scrambling to save Snow White 2025 by reshooting the film at great expense and completely restructuring its marketing team. These actions, which were taken only months before the film's release, are evocative of Sony's struggles during the 2014 interview debacle, when unforeseen circumstances led to major changes and ambiguities. The reshoots are an expensive gamble that will add millions to an already bloated budget, even if firing the marketing team seems like a band-aid solution to a larger issue. These desperate attempts demonstrate how hard it is for Disney to alter its live-action strategy. As audiences become wary of remakes that put a modern message ahead of storyline, Snow White is becoming a cautionary tale about what not to do, endangering Disney's live-action company.
And they recut the entire film, and now they've released a new trailer, and the new trailer is not particularly good. It still has its problems. It's better than the original trailer, however. Here is some of what it looked like.
Many producers have reportedly shunned Rachel Zegler because of her frank comments about Snow White, which has purportedly hurt her career. This argument is akin to the fallout from Katherine Heigl's public criticism of Grey's Anatomy and Knocked Up, which alienated both fans and industry insiders. Zegler's remarks on the original Snow White's outdated status have not only angered viewers but also raised questions about her suitability for high-profile assignments. While those reporters named Heigl as attached to their tribes for less than 6 months in the job, her career fate remains unknown, despite the fact that she continues to participate in the ongoing Snow White reshoots. Despite the official release date of at least 1 to 2 months later than expected, Snow White reshoots, given that the controversy surrounding this film might define her reputation for years, her involvement in the reshoots is a pivotal event that could either salvage or further jeopardize her Hollywood career. Given its issues with Snow White 2025, Disney may reevaluate its reliance on live-action remakes. Fans are becoming weary of reboots that prioritize a modern message above the timeless appeal of the originals. The success of Frozen serves as a reminder that audiences may be deeply impacted by fresh, original storytelling that creates new cultural touchpoints without changing cherished classics. Despite the occasional success of live-action adaptations, the mounting criticism suggests that Disney may need to reorient itself and begin presenting entirely original stories to regain the trust of the public. This disaster might signal a paradigm shift, necessitating that the company learn to combine originality and nostalgia while preserving the essence of its cherished tales in future ventures. This disaster might signal a paradigm shift, necessitating that the company learn to combine originality and nostalgia while preserving the essence of its cherished tales in future ventures. Which kind of videos would you want to see on this channel? Tell us in the space provided for comments below.